Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Day 3 after murdering somebody.
Wow! Don't put that on the camera.
It was worth it.
And we had a lot today.
It was worth it. I got plenty. I was payment for doing it.
His last breath there.
Where I have broken hearts and I've caused people to suffer and I have betrayed sacred trust.
And this is McKenzie Sharilla, who's charged with 2 counts of murder in Strongsville, Ohio for the death of her boyfriend Dominic Russo and his friend Davian Flanagan. It was July 31st, 2022, and the events of that night would change 3 families forever. 17 years old McKenzie and her boyfriend and another friend were on their way home when she drove her Toyota Camry into a brick wall, killing both young men instantly. The crash occurred early in the morning. The scene was devastating. Police and emergency crews arrived to find the vehicle completely destroyed against the building, with both young men pronounced dead at the scene. McKenzie, the only survivor, was rushed to the hospital, but the focus quickly shifted from rescue to investigation.
Strongsville police found the devastating scene in July 2022.
But as investigations started, police quickly realized they weren't looking at a tragic accident. They were dealing with a possible murder. Police began interviewing friends and witnesses who revealed the extent of McKenzie's erratic behavior. As the evidence mounted, detectives prepared to make their move.
Hi, McKenzie. Step out for me. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay?
And the further they investigated, the more glaring it was. Because as it turns out, McKenzie and Dominic's relationship had already raised red flags. People close to them told police that just 2 weeks prior, she'd threatened to crash her car with Dominic inside to end their relationship. This pattern of behavior would have become a crucial element as police built the case against her.
McKenzie had made some violent threats. One of those threats involved purposely crashing her car with Dominic in it to end their relationship. A threat that may seem extreme, done just to get some attention.
McKenzie's arrest would have become one of the most talked about moments in the case. As officers informed her of the double murder charges, her response was not what anyone expected.
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet?
You got it.
In court, the prosecution laid it all out for the jury. They showed digital evidence. The car's black box revealed that McKenzie had pressed the accelerator to the floor, never once touching the brakes till the crash. Surveillance footage also confirmed the car's incredible speed and direct path toward the wall. And then, the witness testimony. Friends described her as volatile and possessive, often blowing up people's phones with angry messages.
And that's kind of when all of us stopped being friends with just her. We were all cool with that stuff. Just because she's so crazy, she'll blow everyone's phone up.
There was also evidence from apps like Life 360 showing her exact speed and route.
Dominic and Davian came to police to share information from Life 360, a location sharing app that showed Sharilla was flying toward the building at over 90 miles an hour.
There was no hard braking until, it'll show you when they hard brake, and that was when they hit the wall.
The jury also saw photos from a concert she attended soon after, with prosecutors arguing she did not show even the slightest remorse for her actions that night.
This was something that was being exhibited while the investigation was still going on, before she was charged and arrested in November of last year. And these were the sort of things that were coming to the police, and the shocking lack of remorse, coupled with the fact that the defendant was reported driving an automobile.
Heat defense tried to change the mind of the jury, claiming that the events of that night were simply a tragic accident.
Is it just kids being kids? Is it Dominic grabbing the steering wheel? Is it McKenzie maybe speeding and say, oh my God, park out, it's late, I'm coming up to this, I better do something, and she goes like that to avoid an accident, not acting purposely, but in fact trying to avoid it? Is it sudden acceleration, panic?
But the evidence spoke for itself.
This is the type of evidence you can never unsee. You can never forget the visual or audio of this exhibit. It's chilling and tragic. As you review that exhibit, you know that you are watching the oncoming deaths of 2 people, and there's nothing that will stop it.
And then it was time for the victims' impact statements.
My son Davion is and always will be so much more than cargo. He was precious. He was an amazing soul with a heart of gold. He gave to the world what he wanted most in his own life: love. The kind of love that would rescue a friend in the middle of the night, no questions asked. The kind that would protect others and honor them. He made friends easily with his infectious smile. He was a gifted athlete.
Then, McKenzie herself addressed the families of her victims, apologizing for her actions.
I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away. And I'm so sorry. And to my family.
Her mother also took the stand after her daughter with her own apology and a plea for leniency for her daughter.
I just want to say, am I allowed to address them at all? I just want to say to the families that I'm broken, sad, and lost, and my heart hurts for everyone, okay? Davion was her new friend, and Dom was the love of her life, and he was part of our family. And we're asking that you please not run the sentences consecutive. He was family, and we all loved each other. I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. I'm so sorry. No. God, no, not at all. They all loved each other. They all spent every day together.
Right before sentencing, the judge addressed the courtroom.
Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
McKenzie Sharilla was found guilty on all counts, including 2 counts of murder. The judge sentenced her to 2 concurrent life terms, with eligibility for parole in 15 years.
So she's sentenced by count 2, the murder of Davion Flanagan, 15 years to life. She's sentenced on count 1, the murder of Dominic Russo, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to the trial with right for time.
Before being led from the courtroom, McKenzie looked back once at her family, before disappearing through the door.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
McKenzie Sharilla's sentencing showed a young influencer facing life for a deadly crash. But how does that compare to Ruby Franke, a YouTube mom whose picture-perfect family brand hid years of horrific abuse behind closed doors?
Where I have broken hearts and I've caused people to suffer and I have betrayed sacred trust.
This is Ruby Franke, and she is in court, charged with 4 counts of aggravated abuse in St. George, Utah. Just months ago, Ruby Franke's life was very different. Known as a family vlogger, she built her brand on parenting advice and wholesome family content. But behind closed doors, a much darker reality was unfolding.
We will be talking all about empowering your children through setting boundaries, teaching them responsibility, and helping them to heal from anxiety. Hope to see you there.
The day was August 30th, 2023, and it was the day everything changed. That day, Ruby's 12-year-old boy escaped from home and showed up at a neighbor's door. His condition shocked the neighbors. He was emaciated, covered in wounds, and his wrists and ankles were bound with duct tape.
911, the address of your emergency. Okay, and the phone number you're calling from. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
The neighbor immediately called 911.
And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
But the horror didn't stop there. When the police arrived, the boy told police another child, his 14-year-old sister, was still in the house.
He was treated by paramedics at the scene.
Look to your left. Just don't.
As handcuffs closed over Ruby Franke's wrists, her brutal reign of terror came to an abrupt end.
Do you need medical attention before you go to the jail?
Officers acted quickly and rescued her, finding her in a similar state of malnutrition and neglect.
But paramedics were moved to tears by what they found inside their multi-million-dollar home. A traumatized child sat motionless in a closet, undernourished and too terrified to talk.
Are you scared?
It's okay if I just sit here with you. We don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt were arrested that same day. Investigators soon discovered evidence of prolonged abuse, including starvation, isolation, and psychological manipulation. As the case gained national attention, Franke's carefully constructed public image crumbled. Her YouTube channel was taken down, and sponsors quickly distanced themselves. During the court proceedings, Franke admitted that she and Hildebrandt inflicted the injuries, not the hospital, as she previously claimed. She told the court that she was led into a dark delusion.
For the past 4 years, I've chosen to follow counsel and guidance that has led me into a dark delusion. My distorted version of reality went largely unchecked as I would isolate from anyone who challenged me. I was led to believe that this world was an evil place, filled with cops who control, hospitals that injure, government agencies that brainwash, church leaders who lie and lust, husbands who refuse to protect, and children who need abused. My choice to believe and behave this paranoia culminated into criminal activity for which I stand before you today ready to take accountability.
Then, she thanked the authorities for rescuing her children.
Thank you to the officers in Santa Clara and the Ivan City Police, Nick Hellman, Brian Palufo, Cy Pickuvit, Mike Pondoyo in Tobler, John Ward, D. Lewis, and Chief Flowers. You were the angels who came and saved my children.
And then, in an emotional moment, she addressed the victims, her own children.
For hurting the tender souls. You're so precious to me. I'm sorry. My choice to live in fear of the world has created a great vulnerability and a blind spot for me, where I have broken hearts and I've caused people to suffer and I have betrayed sacred trust. Watching my community respond to my charges with justice and mercy and grace and love is all the more evidence to me how wrong I've been. This world is full of really good people. And finally, I'm sorry for twisting God's word and distorting his doctrines.
Before sentencing, the judge recalled the abuse in detail while Ruby broke down in tears.
Where I have broken hearts and I've caused people to suffer and I have betrayed sacred trust. Watching my community respond to my charges with justice and mercy and grace and love.
But no sudden show of emotion could erase the years of damage inflicted on her children.
I'm committed to continuing my learning until all of my toxic layers are shed, and I am ready to re-enter as a contributing member of our beautiful society.
The sentence will be that Ms. Franke served 4 counts, 4 1 to 15 year sentences based on her convictions for 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. They will serve consecutively.
A 4 consecutive 1 to 15 year prison term, Ruby Franke would be going away for a very long time. As for her co-conspirator and business partner, Jody Hildebrandt, whose life coaching programs fostered and enabled the abuse, she was also sentenced.
The court imposes 4 1 to 15 year sentences to be again served consecutively for each of the 4 counts of aggravated child abuse.
Ruby Franke broke down as the judge listed her crimes, but here is a defendant who might be facing the death penalty if convicted of the death of a therapist. This is Herrin Thomas, also known as Mr. Prada, who's charged with first-degree murder in Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana, for the death of Dr. William Nicholas Abraham, a therapist.
Having built a reputation of notoriety based on his own image.
Before all this, Mr. Prada was a controversial TikTok influencer, known for his unusual content, brash online persona, and rapidly growing following. His unapologetic attitude drew fans and criticism alike. But everything changed on September 29, 2024. That morning, a driver on Highway 51 spotted something suspicious and called the authorities. When police arrived, it turned out that what was reported was Dr. William Nicholas Abraham's body, wrapped in a blue tarp and a gray comforter. The 40-year-old therapist had died from blunt force trauma to the head. The murder was brutal and violent.
Yesterday morning, just before 8 o'clock, we received a call of a tarp that was rolled up on the side of the road. As of right now, it may have occurred in Tangipahoa Parish, but we have no inclination at this point as to where this originated.
Dr. Nick, as his friends called him, was a respected therapist and former priest. And for a while, the manner of death left investigators puzzled. But as they continued to search for answers, the trail of evidence led them to Mr. Prada. First, there was the surveillance footage, which showed that the late doctor had been at Mr. Prada's apartment the day before his body was discovered, in the same clothes his body was discovered in. They also found footage of Mr. Prada in Dr. Nick's black Lincoln sedan. When police published his images as a person of interest, the social media star's notoriety made him easy to identify. People were quick to call in tips, and soon, police knew exactly the identity of the man they were looking for. And soon, other surveillance footage surfaced, showing him using Dr. Nick's credit cards and making purchases in both Louisiana and Texas. Mr. Prada was arrested in Dallas, Texas after a multi-state manhunt.
Had him stopped in this parking lot. He tried to back up, and when he realized he couldn't get out, he hopped up onto this curb and went through this breezeway. He drove through this way, crashing into this planter right here, and then made his way to the back parking lot. The wheel then fell off the car back here. He got out and ran through those buildings.
When taken into custody, he appeared disheveled and uncooperative. And when police searched at his apartment, police found evidence of a violent struggle and an attempted cleanup. DNA confirmed it belonged to Dr. Nick. There were also witnesses who saw him dragging a blue tarp down apartment stairs and loading it into Dr. Nick's car. Still, police authorities struggled to understand the connection between the two men, and they dug deep. The past began to resurface. In 2015, Dr. Nick faced allegations involving an 11-year-old boy, but was never formally charged with. The charges were dropped due to lack of evidence and concern for the child's well-being. But when the details of this case became public, a widespread internet speculation spread that Mr. Prada was that victim. They pointed to Mr. Prada's visible mental health decline on social media.
Life is a mess. Like, I just cannot believe this is my reality right now. My life is hell. My life is a prison. Get me the fuck out.
But official records show no direct link between Dr. Nick and Mr. Prada outside the murder investigation. Law enforcement stated there was no indication that Herrin Thomas was a client of Dr. Abraham's.
Law enforcement released a definitive statement on this point. There was no indication that Herrin Thomas was a client of Dr. Abraham's. The link between the two men at that time remained ambiguous.
But public opinion remains divided. Some see a cold-blooded killer, while others believe he's a victim who finally snapped. Whichever way, Mr. Prada's court proceedings are still ongoing, and if convicted of these charges, a possible death penalty. Mr. Prada's trial left the internet divided. But what happens when a known TikToker turns his fame into a double murder conviction?
His last breath there.
And this is Ali Abulaban, known online as JinnKid. and he is on court, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in San Diego, California.
Ali Abulaban, the man convicted in the so-called TikTok murder case.
Abulaban was a popular TikTok personality whose rise to online fame was matched only by his rapid and violent downfall.
Okay. What can I get you? Hey, handsome. Welcome. Sorry, man. I have a venti dolce caramel macchiato with no ice. What the f wrong with this guy, man? Get him your way.
Behind his on-screen persona, a storm of jealousy and paranoia brewed at home. His marriage to his wife, Ana Abulaban, turned volatile, marked by disturbing behavior patterns and escalating domestic violence.
Tell me what you saw when you went in there. I saw my wife on the couch with my hand on her head.
The couple's relationship, once full of promise, descended into a dangerous spiral.
She don't think. She don't think. She don't think. And you know what? Goodbye to your little citizenship there, Miss Filipino. But I'm not ready. I don't call the police on people I love. Out of here, bro. This lured me to San Diego for what? So she could be her friends?
Stop lying to them, Molly.
No, it's the truth. Yeah, you got friends now. Now you don't have a husband. Okay.
It all came to a head on October 21st, 2021. Ali Abulaban entered the Spire apartment building in San Diego. Inside, Ali found his estranged wife, Ana, and her friend, Rayburn Barron. He immediately shot both of them in the head. In the days leading up to the murders, warning signs were everywhere. Ali's paranoia about Anna's fidelity had grown increasingly severe. He began surveilling her, even going so far as to plant a listening device in their daughter's iPad. After the shootings, Ali made a series of calls, first to his mother.
I just like the bird. See the house. I just like the bird. Is that? I just like the bird. I can't see everything else. I have to go to the bird too. I have to go to the bird too. She's here. She's here. She's here. There's a witch. I don't know. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
And then he called 911.
San Diego emergency, dispatcher 8107.
Yes, ma'am. My wife and another man were, I found them dead on the couch. Bullet holes to the face.
Wait, someone was shot?
2 people, a man and my wife.
His account of events shifted quickly, claiming that he found the bodies of his wife and friend.
Okay, hold on, sir.
But immediately the police started investigation. Ali's lies began to unravel, and his initial attempts to paint himself as a distraught survivor quickly unraveled.
San Diego police arrive at the apartment, not sure what they're walking into.
Oh, we got 2 down, I need a team, Clears that. Someone came here and shot them. That's the guy that he's describing.
Ali was arrested and placed in custody and charged with 2 counts of murder. In court, the prosecution built a case not just around physical evidence, but around the digital footprint Ali left behind.
She sees the value in me, unlike your dumb. And I can't wait to divorce you.
Can somebody please help me? Hello? Molly!
Stop.
Leave me the alone! My finger! I'm trying to leave this house!
Yeah, that's not cool.
Give me my phone!
With a bunch of guys?
Give me my phone!
Bunch of guys, huh?
Give me my phone! There's no guys! Give me my phone!
Ali's defense team argued this was a crime of passion, fueled by drug use and emotional turmoil.
She drove him to the brink. Anna knew all too well. She knew exactly what to say and how to say it to cut him directly to the bone. She knew his underlying vulnerabilities, his insecurities about his mental illness, his drug addiction, and his own chaotic upbringing. She used these and she weaponized them against him. He was so completely overcome by the months of torture and heartache and pain that he reacted without thought, without judgment. and without malice.
even calling Ali himself to the stand.
And before I could stop myself, I just my gun was in my hand, and next thing I'm shooting, and I can't stop. I'm just shooting, and I'm even startled. It's like I'm watching it happen. I'm like I'm in the passenger seat of my own body.
The prosecution countered with a mountain of evidence showing premeditation, from the surveillance setup to the loaded weapon and planned entry into the apartment. The jury agreed with the prosecution. Ali Ablaban was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder, with special circumstances and firearm enhancements.
In the Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of San Diego, the people of the State of California, plaintiff versus Ali Nasser Abulaban, defendant, case number SCD 292181, verdict. We, the jury in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Ali Nasser Abulaban, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
But the most emotional moment in the case came at sentencing. During the victim impact statements, Anna's sister tore into the man who had murdered her sister.
If I had known what my sister had been through with all the abuse, if I had known.
Ali attempted an apology, addressing the families and his young daughter.
Amira, when you're old enough to see this, please don't blame yourself. None of this is your fault. Your mom loved you so much, and I love you so much.
But his remorse was way too late. The judge delivered the maximum sentence, life without parole, plus 50 years for firearm use.
The bottom line here is he will die in prison. He will never be a free man. He will take his last breath there.
The prosecutor emphasized that Ali would die in prison.
The bottom line here is he will die in prison. He will never be a free man. He will take his last breath there.
But Ali had a surprising reaction to his sentencing.
Please.
It is the end of the road for Ali Abulaban. But how does that compare to the case of a teenage girl who murdered her father with the end of her boyfriend?
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Day 3 after murdering somebody.
Wow! Don't put that on the camera.
This is 16-year-old Sierra Halseth and her 18-year-old boyfriend, Herrin Guerrero. They are in court facing charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy, arson, robbery, and multiple counts of fraudulent use of a credit or debit card in the gruesome slaying of Sierra's father, 45-year-old Daniel Halseth, in Las Vegas.
Put in 25 push-ups, huh? How's that sound?
The dad was a fitness and travel buff who loved to post videos online, including these moments as a doting dad.
There's Sierra.
Daniel was a doting father, a Navy veteran and tech consultant who raised Sierra largely on his own following his divorce from former Nevada State Senator Elizabeth Halseth.
But he reportedly didn't approve of his 16-year-old daughter Sierra dating 18-year-old Herrin Guerrero. And he wasn't alone. His ex-wife, Elizabeth, a former Nevada Republican state senator, also had a problem with her daughter's relationship. After they banned Sierra from seeing Herrin, Sierra's father disappeared.
Sierra and Herrin began dating in mid-2020. Their plans to run away to Los Angeles alarmed both families, who intervened and forbade the relationship. But the teens refused to let go. Investigators say they then plotted something far more sinister, with Daniel standing in the way of their future. That night, they lay in wait for Daniel to return home. What followed was horrific. Daniel suffered more than 70 stab-and-slash wounds, some inflicted post-mortem, and his body was mutilated. They placed him in a sleeping bag, dragged him into the garage, and set him ablaze. Using Daniel's debit card, they withdrew funds and fled. But Sierra's grandmother became worried when she could not hear from her son after multiple messages, and she called the police for a welfare check.
How may I help you?
Yeah, hi, I need a welfare check. I don't know if that's...
On who are we doing a welfare check?
For my son. He's been missing for 2 days. His work's called, his family's called, I've called, his ex-wife's called, and there's nobody answering the phone, and there's nothing. Nobody can get a hold of him, and then his work called, and they can't get a hold of him, and it's really, really, he just doesn't act like this.
Okay. Does he live alone?
He lives with his 16-year-old daughter who is not answering the phone.
Okay.
Or replying to a text.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird part is, I'll just tell you this, there's been ATM withdrawals at 3 different ATM.
She also called the landlady of the building where Daniel and Sierra lived to check on him, and the landlady stumbled on a grisly scene.
When they checked in on Halseth's home in Las Vegas that he had been renovating.
There's a dead body in the garage we just found.
Halseth had been stabbed to death and his body set on fire.
Immediately, police launched an investigation, and they found that this act was premeditated, taking days of careful planning. They found surveillance footage, receipts, and store logs tied Sierra and Herrin to purchases of a circular saw blades, bleach, lighter fluid, gloves, and drop cloth, tools that would later play a central role in the crime. Days into their escape, police in Salt Lake City found the pair traveling without tickets, and when they ran a background check on them, they found that they were a couple of teenagers wanted for murder more than 200 miles away. They were immediately arrested and extradited back. Now in custody, police found even more damning pieces of evidence. Sierra's phone contained a video filmed by the couple, and it was straight up horrifying.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. After murdering day 3 after murdering somebody.
Wow! Don't put that on the camera.
It was worth it.
And we had a lot today.
It was worth it. I got plenty. I was payment for doing it.
The teenagers initially pleaded not guilty to the charges.
Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty. Not guilty.
But by May 2022, both admitted guilt to all 9 counts, including murder with a deadly weapon, first-degree arson, robbery, conspiracy, and multiple fraud counts. During testimony, Sierra stunned the courtroom by shifting blame onto her own father, painting him as abusive, a drug addict, and a pedophile.
Your Honor, my biological father has traumatized me. Trauma that I still have to work through every day. I've never had any problems and I've always been a positive influence. I was always sure of myself and was work-hard and passionate. But when my biological father took control of my life, I've never felt so lost. Not only did he hit me and put his hands on me, but he shaved me, touched me, did me, slapped me, kissed me, as well as letting others do the same.
Herrin, in stark contrast, tearfully expressed remorse.
I wish I could do something for those who loved him, to stop their suffering and mourning. The same way I would suffer if someone was taken from me. My only hope now is that the Halseth family finds a way to forgive me. He did not deserve to pass in such a horrible way. He was a way better man than I'll ever be. I ask for your forgiveness as I get sentenced today, and I hope it brings you a little peace. I want these years to repent and endure the consequences of my actions. So when I might get the chance of release one day, I'll be able to say I learned my lesson. That's all I would like to say. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
During the victim impact statements, the family of the victim detailed Daniel's devotion and heartbreak over his daughter's betrayal.
He selflessly coached me through everything a father would have taught his kid. I can hear my brother asking me to forgive, and to be honest, I'm not sure that's even possible. Thank you.
One uncle even urged the judge to consider the death penalty.
Knowing that they needed him. A selfish and humane act by his own daughter and her boyfriend has taken him away from us forever. Now he's not even around for his family, and I miss him every day. Our family wasn't able to choose their punishment, but they both should have gotten death for the life they took. 20 years will never be enough for taking down. Thank you.
By October 2022, a plea deal spared them the death penalty. Both were sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 22 years and ordered to pay $5,000 in restitution.
You're going to be sentenced to 48 to 120 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. On count 2, you're going to be sentenced to life in the Nevada Department of Corrections with the possibility of parole after 20 years has been served. You're going to be sentenced to life in the Nevada Department of Corrections with the possibility of parole after 20 years has been served, plus a consecutive 24 to 60 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections for a deadly weapon enhancement. That's ordered to run concurrent to count 1.
In court, Sierra's expression remained void of emotion, while Herrin wept uncontrollably. Sierra sits behind bars at the Florence McClure Women's Correctional Center, while Herrin is housed in High Desert State Prison, neither eligible for parole before 2044. This is Mahek Bukhari and her mother, Ann Serene, and they're in court facing charges of murder for the death of 2 men, Saqib Hussein and his friend, Hashim Ijazuddin. Mahek had a huge social media following, and she was known for her glamorous pictures and videos. But behind those viral videos, which her audience loved, something dark was brewing. On the night of February 11th, 2022, 2 young men lost their lives in what, at first, looked like a catastrophic car crash. Saqib and Hashim were driving along the A46 when their Skoda Fabia left the road and burst into flames. The wreckage was devastating, charred metal, flames cutting into the night, and both men were killed instantly. But within hours, suspicion set in. As investigation continued, police soon realized this wasn't just a tragic accident. This was a planned ambush. And as they dug in, a chilling backstory unfolded. Ann Serene, a married woman in her 40s, had been seeing 21-year-old Saqib Hussein in secret. Her husband knew nothing about the affair, but her daughter, Mahek, did. And instead of shutting it down, Mahek seemed to support it. Things spun out of control when Ann Serene tried to end the relationship. Saqib didn't take it lightly and threatened to expose everything about the affair to her husband to the public unless she paid him $3,000. And this wasn't an empty threat. He had text messages, photos, and recordings. Enough to blow up her life, especially her marriage. Ann Serene and Mahek had a choice: pay him off or make sure he never talked. They chose the latter. That's when Mahek stepped in. Instead of walking away, she allegedly lured Saqib into a deadly trap. The plan was brutal. Mahek enlisted the help of 7 others to teach Saqib a lesson. They lured Saqib to a meeting spot at a gas station, pretending to hand over the money. Saqib quickly realized the danger. He jumped into his friend Hashim Ijazuddin's car, and they sped off. That's when the chase began, with cars flying down the A46 motorway at over 100 miles per hour. The high-speed chase that ended with their car being rammed off the road. Saqib and his friend were killed on impact. The police immediately followed their trail to Mahek's home, and when questioned on their whereabouts, Mahek and her mother claimed they were not even in town that night. But police knew they weren't telling the truth.
Me and May went. No, yeah, we were.
Where were you? Where was that?
So we stayed here, and then we went straight to Nottingham.
Right. Okay. In the Audi.
Yes, Audi.
There was surveillance footage leaving the area just before sunrise. They took them into custody. In police custody, Mahek continued the lies, trying to distance herself from what happened.
There's a car that's coming on the right-hand side, a Seat Leon, don't know the model or anything, but it was blue, come straight down, no speed, nothing, normal on the right-hand side. We were always on the left-hand side. This right-hand side car's come now, the Leon, the blue one, has come straight next to me and come right in front of me, not very close. I've always said to myself, I'm a very good driver when it comes to this. I've been driving for 5 years, 4 to 5 years, and I've said to myself, always keep a 2 to 3 second rule gap, always, when I've said to myself.
The trial was held behind closed doors, and the prosecutors painted Mahek not as a passive influencer caught in the wrong place, but as the driving force, orchestrating an ambush to silence Saqib forever. Text messages, location data, and witness testimony all laid bare the conspiracy. The jury heard how Mahek had promised her mother she would make the problem go away. The defense argued that Mahek and the others never intended to kill, only to confront Saqib. But the evidence told a different story. And then came the victim impact statements. Families described Saqib and Hashim as loyal, bright young men whose lives were stolen in an instant. Mahek, during these proceedings, remained passive, even playing board games and laughing with her family. Finally, after a tense trial, the verdict was read. Mahek Bukhari, alongside her mother, was found guilty of murder. They were sentenced to life in prison. Mahek's initial composure finally broke as the sentence was read out, and according to reports, she was led out of the courtroom crying. Mahek Bukhari's initial composure broke down when the life sentence came down. But how does that compare to a TikTok star, now turned murderer, who claims self-defense for the murder of her boyfriend? This is Courtney Clenney, once a popular social media influencer and adult content creator, known to millions as Courtney Taylor.
I took I took some time off to rest, and now it's game time. You have no idea.
But behind the glamorous photos and seductive videos, prosecutors say there was a toxic, dangerous relationship that would end in a brutal death. Courtney now faces second-degree murder charges in Miami, Florida, for the stabbing of her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli. On April 3rd, 2022, a 911 call came in that would set the stage for a shocking trial.
Please, God, please, come see my boyfriend. Ma'am, is this a house apartment or a business? I want you to 745-2582. Is this a house apartment or a business? Baby, I'm so sorry. Baby. Ma'am, can you hear me? If you have a stab wound to his shoulder, sit down. What do you mean he has a stab wound on his shoulder, ma'am?
The voice on the other end was panicked, nearly incoherent, Courtney herself, claiming that she had stabbed her boyfriend in self-defense. When the officers entered the apartment, they found Christian Obumseli lying lifeless on the floor with a deep stab wound to his chest.
No, I can't let this, okay? Wait, it wasn't. Guys,
Relax.
Why? No, guys.
Relax.
Paramedics arrived quickly, but it was too late. He was dead.
I have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Okay. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could, and
Christian is dead. Oh my God.
Courtney, however, appeared visibly shaken, covered in blood, but alive. She told police that this was all just a tragic accident, a moment of self-defense gone wrong.
Wait, is he dead? Is he dead?
Sit down.
Okay, no, I'll sit down. I just scared.
Sit down.
He's not dead, is he?
We don't. No, they're taking him to the hospital right now. He's in the hospital right now.
I need to be at the hospital with him.
No, you're not going anywhere.
Why?
Because we're conducting an investigation.
I was self-defense. My mom was on the phone.
So you guys started arguing, then what happened?
Threw me against the wall, choked me. You're looking like this. He's never choked to where it's crazy stuff. I couldn't breathe. Okay. Then he put me on the.
So he throws you against the wall.
Then he put me on the ground.
In the moments of the attack, Clenney claimed she had thrown the knife at Christian in self-defense during a fight.
I did not stab him once. I just threw it because I was scared.
You threw a knife.
Threw it.
You threw a knife.
Threw it from across the room. I did not I was scared.
But as investigators dug deeper, red flags started to surface. Police quickly discovered that the tension in the couple's luxury high-rise apartment had been mounting for weeks. Neighbors reported hearing loud arguments, complaints flooding the building staff, who had to intervene multiple times. And the day of the stabbing, police uncovered more evidence. Security footage from the building showed multiple altercations between the couple. This wasn't a one-time outburst. This was a relationship filled with volatile conflict. But the most crucial piece of evidence came from the medical examiner. The fatal wound was consistent with a downward thrust, not a defensive strike as Courtney had claimed. This was a key turning point in the case, as it suggested that the stabbing may have been deliberate, not in the heat of a moment of self-defense. In court, the defense team painted a different picture. They argued that Christian Obumseli had been abusive toward Courtney and that she was a victim of domestic violence. They even brought in testimony about a prior incident where police had been called to their apartment for an argument.
Her boyfriend comes charging towards her, and we actually try to get in the middle of it.
Clenney is visibly upset. She's on the phone with her dad while telling police a bumcelli is stalking her.
Right now, like, I have not always been a victim, but like right now I'm a freaking victim in the situation. I'm scared to go downstairs and walk my dog.
But the prosecution wasn't buying it. They painted Courtney as the aggressor, showing the jury security footage and even cell phone records from Courtney's own devices.
You know, like I was sober for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And now why am I not sober? Because of you. But you're hindering my progress.
You need to sit down. You need to sit
Let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me.
Okay.
Come on, boy. Let go of me.
That's inconsistent with common sense. There's no way that you would, if you throw a knife, that the knife is going to land so deep in a downward position.
As the trial unfolded, it gained national attention because of Courtney's massive following. Her online fans were torn. Some believed her claim of self-defense, while others sided with the prosecution's portrayal of escalating violence. But the defense went to great lengths to support their case. They even hired a professional knife thrower to demonstrate how it was possible for Christian to sustain such an injury from a thrown knife, trying to validate Courtney's story. But the evidence from the prosecution told a far different story. They had footage, witness testimony, and the medical examiner's report, which painted a clear picture. Courtney wasn't the victim. She was the aggressor.
You're just like my boyfriend. Get the out of here. I can actually if you're not here. Get out of here.
Okay, I'll remember that next time.
Get out of here. No, not even the next time.
Stop touching
Get out.
me. Don't touch me yet.
Good thing, get out. Get out. You never loved me. The way you talk, the way you treated the girls, the way you embarrassed me. I don't want anything to do with you.
Embarrassing you guys today.
The stakes are high. If convicted, Courtney could face life in prison. Courtney Clenney's fate remains undecided, but for this young influencer, it is the end of the road after a night of reckless driving ends in the death of a mother and child. This is Cameron Herrin, once a rising young TikTok influencer with millions of fans, now standing in court, facing charges of vehicular homicide. On the surface, Cameron looked like every parent's dream. Handsome, athletic, a recent high school graduate who had just gotten a shiny black Ford Mustang for his 18th birthday. But behind the wheel, that car became a weapon. It was May 23, 2018, in Tampa, Florida. Bayshore Boulevard, a long stretch of road famous for speeders, was Cameron's racetrack that day. He and his friend, racing in a gold Nissan, decided to push their cars to the limit. Cameron's Mustang was soaring past 100 miles per hour, and at that exact moment, 24-year-old Jessica Reisinger-Raubenold was pushing her 20-month-old daughter, Lilia, in a stroller across the street. She never saw it coming. The Mustang plowed straight into them. Witnesses described a horrifying scene. Jessica was thrown into the air, while baby Lilia was flung out of her stroller, landing more than 100 feet away. First responders rushed in, but it was already too late. Jessica and her baby girl died shortly after, and were pronounced dead at the hospital. Cameron Herrin was taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of vehicular homicide. And from that point, the case went viral. Clips of Herrin in court flooded TikTok and Twitter. Millions of people began obsessing over his boyish looks and sad eyes. Fan edits painted him as some kind of tragic movie character. Hashtags like "Justice for Cameron" and "Too Cute for Prison" trended worldwide. But behind all the noise was a grieving husband and father, David Raubenold. At sentencing in April 2021, he stood in court, trembling as he told the judge how he had lost everything in a single moment.
I've suffered horrifically every moment. It is nearly impossible to put into words the agony of this legal process.
Because of your existence, 2 beautiful, innocent lives were denied a full life. You eliminated their voices from this earth.
Then came Judge Christopher Nash's turn. He acknowledged Cameron's youth and that he had no prior record. But he also stressed that this wasn't some small mistake. It was reckless, dangerous, and irreversible. 2 innocent lives were gone.
I did consider, I also want to make a record, I did consider sentencing Mr. Herrin as a youthful offender, but for the same reasons that I'm discussing, I didn't think sentencing him as a youthful offender was appropriate. I agree that youthful offender was something that the court could have done. I did consider it. I carefully considered it.
And then the sentence, 24 years in prison.
Vehicular homicide. The court's going to adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence him to 9 years in Florida State Prison. On count 2, same charge. The court will adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence him to 15 years Florida State Prison. That'll run consecutive to count 1. For a total of 24 years Florida State Prison.
At that moment of sentencing, Cameron's face fell. He looked stunned, as though reality had just struck him, that he would spend nearly all of his 20s and much of his 30s behind bars. Outside the courthouse, nearly 30,000 people signed a petition calling the punishment too harsh. Online, his supporters continued their edits and hashtags. But inside, the message was clear. No amount of social media attention, no fan petitions, no pretty boy edits could undo what happened on Bayshore Boulevard. Jessica and Lilia were gone, and Cameron Herrin would pay for the price of that decision every single day behind prison walls.
Although this won't bring my wife back, I hope that this sentence will inspire younger folks to behave in a manner that is appropriate amongst our streets.